report. Obviously, this is an issue that is extremely sensitive, emotional, not only for our community, but for the country. So the committee, the ad hoc committee, has been working on recommendations for a while, and we're going to take up this item. I want to turn it over to the chair of the ad hoc, Commissioner Vera.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I want to extend a welcome to the Sheriff and Deputy Limon, sorry for your title, but thank you for being here. I actually think, Madam Chair, that in light of the fact that we have just recently received the new changes to the policies, that we need more time to actually digest the effect of these policies. So first I want to start, Sheriff, by saying we really appreciate the steps that you and your department have taken to start getting ICE out of jails. We see that as a good first step, but we, as you know, have been working on a report to try to give our layperson recommendations about where the dividing line should be. And what I'm saying today is that I think we would like to sit down with you and your staff, whoever you delegate, to try to better understand where you're going with that, or you and your administration understand our recommendations so that we can take all that into account and bring that back and make any modifications if necessary. I think any kind of vote today is premature because we would like to have that kind of dialogue.
Good job, team.
When you were elected, your undersheriff then, Leyva, welcomed that kind of dialogue, and it just hasn't happened yet for whatever reason. So we would ask that, like I said, delegate staff to meet with us so that we can really have a fruitful dialogue on that, and then see if there's any modifications that we need to make on our reports for that. But let me address really quickly one of the reasons why we have spent so much time, this is not only addressed to you, Sheriff, but to the audience members. I, like many of you, thought, yes, it makes sense that we should try to come up with some method of, some policy, right, to take into account some of these very, very serious crimes. And when we created this ad hoc committee, we met with members of the public, and a group of moms came to us and in Spanish said, no estamos reportando, we're not reporting. What their comment was, unless there's a real trust with the Sheriff's Department, they are not reporting violent crimes to law enforcement. Now, all of you think about that. What does that mean? By not reporting, that means that offenders of violent crimes are out there. Those complaints never go to the Sheriff's Department. They never go to the LAPD. Why? Because there's a mistrust.
Why?
For whatever reason, we're not here to blame other administrations, what happened in the past. But there's a real mistrust of law enforcement and a belief that if it works with ICE, that their family members will be in peril, their kids will be picked up on their way to school, and that's happened.
Ridiculous.
So I heard it again and again. No estamos reportando, no vamos a reportar. And that had a real effect on me. So that's why we're volunteers. We're doing this, giving you our best layperson opinion. But since now you have started to change those policies, we would like the opportunity to reflect on those. So, Madam Chair, I don't want to go through all the recommendations now. I've done that before. We've gotten some comments from the public in the last few weeks as well. So we've been making some tweaks to that, but I think it's appropriate for us really to have, like I said, a dialogue with the departments in there.
Okay, I know what I want to ask for.
Okay, I would like to recommend that the full committee meet before this item is placed on whatever appropriate date for the next agenda item. When you've met together as a group, had an opportunity to meet with the sheriff, have considered different recommendations. I know that Commissioner Bana has a set of ideas that he would like to have considered by the ad hoc. So I think that if everybody's in agreement, okay. Any other commentary about putting this off the agenda?
disagree with the ultimate conclusion that Commissioner Vera has put forward, that it may be premature to take a vote by the full commission on the report and recommendations. But I want to express my concern that the ad hoc committee's recommendations, several of which I have grave concerns about, particularly recommendations 1, 9, and 10. I have great concerns about them because I think the effect of those would prevent the sheriff from transferring individuals who are not legally in our country, who have committed serious and violent crimes of the type that are listed in SB 54, which include rape, they include robbery, armed robbery, they include burglary and the like. What my concern is that once the ad hoc committee's report was made public, which goes back to November of last year, it created the impression that this report and those recommendations were preliminary recommendations of the Civic and Oversight Commission, and they are not. The commission as a whole has never voted, approved, or endorsed any of the recommendations of the ad hoc committee's report, much less the report itself. I'm further troubled, and I've been expressed this before, that with respect to the recommendations that have the effect, in my opinion, of preventing transfer of individuals who have been convicted of SB 54 offenses, that have had the effect of preventing that transfer to ICE is misguided. I strongly believe that that will impact negatively on public safety, Sheriff, if that were to occur. And I believe actually the first and foremost responsibility of the sheriff and the sheriff's department actually is the public safety of our community.
Yes.
So if there's an opportunity where people are not legally in the United States who have committed serious and violent crimes, to remove them from our country, I believe we should do so.
Amen.
So the other part of the report that I'm really troubled by, and I certainly would ask the ad hoc committee to go back and take a look at this again, is if in fact you're preventing if you're recommending, if the sheriff were to adopt these recommendations, which I hope you wouldn't, Sheriff, particularly recommendations 1, 9, and 10, but if you're doing that, you really must do a public safety evaluation of what the impact of that would be if you release, for example, a convicted burglar, armed robber, rapist who is legally in the United States back into the community. Then I think you ought to also consider the secondary consequences of not transferring serious and violent criminals to ICE after they've been convicted and they've served their sentence in county jail. I think you ought to also consider what has to be an unintended consequence of that, which is really forcing ICE agents into the community to locate and find those individuals, which always, as everybody in law enforcement knows, creates a dangerous situation for law enforcement, for ICE agents, for local law enforcement, for people in the neighborhood, for people in the house where the arrest is taking place, and also has the effect that if ICE is there, it's going to, I think it's inevitable, they're going to actually pick up other people that are illegally in the United States who haven't committed any crimes. And we really don't necessarily want that.
Other
So
crimes.
you're actually forcing that to happen. I guess that the bottom line would be is to make clear that these recommendations, particularly 1, 9, and 10, have not been adopted by the full commission. And I would really, really urge the ad hoc committee, and I'm not a member of the ad hoc committee, but to take a look at those recommendations with a view toward eliminating. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Is there a motion?